Complete Section 4 if you have highway width restrictions or lane closures. Keep in mind, notice is not required if the minimum width maintained for a single open travel lane is 22 feet between barriers, including the travel lane plus any paved shoulder. The minimum width maintained for two travel lanes for one-way traffic is 28 feet or greater. The minimum width maintained for traffic is 28 feet or greater for two travel lanes for two-way traffic with no traffic separator or candlesticks being used on the center line. Or, if those minimum widths cannot be maintained, but wider loads, say 20 feet, can be accommodated unannounced with minimal delay on a non-interstate highway by moving cones and equipment. And finally, no lane shifts or lane closures will divert traffic into a travel lane with less vertical clearance underneath structures. If you're not sure about this, contact the mobility team. After indicating the travel lanes that will be closed or restricted, provide the width for the open travel lanes between barriers. If the width will vary between different times and days, indicate the narrowest width between barrier, including paved shoulder, that's planned for the work period. Next, indicate the daytime and nighttime widths in the next two text boxes. Daytime is defined as a half hour before sunrise to a half hour after sunset. And nighttime is defined as a half hour after sunset to a half hour before sunrise. Refer to the Mobility Procedures Manual, Chapter 3 for nighttime versus daytime requirements. Indicate if any lanes will be closed underneath overpasses, and if so, which ones. Since vertical clearances can vary between lanes, we want to make sure the open lane won't result in a lower vertical clearance for overheight loads. Next, indicate if the work zone is on a straight or curve or both. This information will determine the actual width restriction that will be applied to overwidth loads. On a width-restricted roadway, we apply a 2-foot buffer for straight sections and a 3-foot buffer for curves. So a roadway with 19 feet between barrier will be restricted to 17-foot loads on a straight and 16-foot loads on a curve. And finally, indicate if wider loads can be accommodated unannounced on a non-interstate highway by moving barrier and equipment out of the way with minimal delay. If not, can they be accommodated with advance notice? If they can, provide us with instructions for providing notice, including how much notice will be required.